All right, another shamelessly cheap video for you. We're gonna go to sales. So this is really for somebody that's in sales and marketing, the guy that's doing that role or person. All right, if you're in sales and marketing and you want to figure out what your decisions are going to be, number one, as a team, you guys got to decide what your SQ rating is going to be. Okay, so this little guy right here is really important. All right, what do you want that to be? Okay, that has to be agreed upon by the team. What level are you competing at? Are you going to be high end at 10 or low end at 4? I have played this game in both directions and won. So you can do it both ways. Number two, you got to decide how many brands or how many models you're going to offer. Is it going to be 500, which is the max, or a couple hundred down at the minimum? All right. The more models you offer, the more attractive you are. However, it comes at a cost. So you can't just add models and pray. You've got to do this the right way. So you have to sort of slowly add maybe a few models. I think they go in 50 model increments and see where you fall. The average is somewhere, I think, between 250 and 350. All right, but you have to figure that out. Okay, I'll give you a hint. The lower your SQ rating here, the more models you want to play. If you go to a level 10 and you try to run 500 models, you're going to cost yourself in a position where you'll never make a buck. Okay? All right, so that's choosing now. Pricing, positioning, how many models you want to offer. These three things should be sort of team agreed upon. Okay, now, one of the things you got to know about is how much is more than likely going to be your fair share. Okay, so if we go to page 4 and we take a look at where we're at here in terms of demand. Okay, expected year 21 footwear demand. Take a look at this. Okay, is 48,590,000,000 for branded and 11,232,000,000 for private label. So we're selling on 3 different levels here: internet, wholesale, private label. Okay, you have to understand that. All right, so the expected supply in the market, beginning inventory, is 7,810,000. So as you go along, this here is your expected demand for the year. You got to back this out of it, okay? That's the only way you can realistically estimate what the industry's demand is going to be. So this 7,810,000,000 is sitting in inventory because people overproduced. Okay, so we take that out there. So it's really about 41 to 42 billion. If you divide that by, in this case, it was 6 teams, every team should produce 7 billion pairs to satisfy their share of the market. Now, when we look at this guy down here, okay, this private label number, okay, it's important to know that this number right here, we have to divide that 2 by 6, so you're getting there somewhere between 1.5 to 2 billion. But I can tell you right now, you have to be careful when you play private label because of pricing. You'll figure this out. All right, so what have I told you here? Well, if you take the demand for that coming year and you back out current inventory in the industry, you're sitting there with about 42 billion sales coming up. Divided by 6 gives you 7 billion. That gives you your fair share. If you think you're going to make more than that, you could put yourself at risk of significantly failing. Okay? So it's important you always come here first to figure out what your forecasted sales should be. Okay, so having that understood, then we go back to our sales page. Okay, take a look at the sales forecast here. All right. Well, I have intentionally tanked this team because I was playing in a industry with the students and I didn't want to be a factor in it, so I got out. But watch what happens if I change some numbers up here. All right, let's see. One of the things that's happening here is this isn't jiving with what I have in branded production. I haven't looked at this in a while, but I'm going to leave it at 4. And I'm going to lower this price down to like 45. Let's see if that changes. Oh yeah, it did come up just a little bit. So you see how that increased to 2 billion from 750 million? That's how fast price can influence your demand. Okay? What if I kick this guy all the way up to a 7? Let's see what happens. That helps it out again. 135% of capacity though. I must not have much in here. I played around with these numbers quite a bit so that I could tank this team. But let's take this down to 35. See what happens. Look what it did there. All right. But are we making money at that? So I'm just doing one particular continent right now. That's North American numbers. If I was to do that across the whole board here, watch what I'll do here. I'll make these all 35, and I will change this to 7, which is totally wrong, but I'm just doing it for the purpose of demonstrating what happens with your demand based on moving these numbers. Watch what happens in the total here. Okay. All right, now let's see what it did with demand. Look, boom. But guess what? All is not good. Look where my EPS is here. 24 cents. Very bad. All right, that means I'm basically losing all my money. Let's go to wholesale marketing here. Now, look at these gross margins. Those are terrible. Okay, so what's the point? I drove demand right through the roof. That doesn't mean I'm going to win this game. Okay? What I am trying to show you here, though, is one, how to gauge what your share of the market is in that given year. Number 2, how manipulating price, SQ, can significantly impact demand. 3, you can bring demand up through the roof, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the game and make money. Obviously, we're losing here. I'm losing $2.72 a pair here. Here, I'm breaking even. Here, I'm breaking even. Here, I'm losing $15 a pair. Why would I be in business to do that, right? So this is not going to work. But I wanted to show you some of the basics. Some of the basics about the sales and how it interrelates with the game. We'll be back.